The quarterback carousel is never ending in the NFL. Whether it be through the draft, free agency, or even a blockbuster trade, every year there are a number of teams that will be starting their new franchise quarterback. 12 teams began the 2023 season with a new starter under center, and there are soon to be 10 rookie quarterbacks who have gotten the chance to start for their teams, which will break the single season NFL record. In today's NFL, teams are becoming much more aggressive in acquiring a franchise quarterback, which makes sense because in a league filled with wildly talented quarterbacks, having a good quarterback is basically required for entry into the playoffs. The days in which you could get by with just a game manager quarterback are over. Some teams get lucky and they land a guy like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, while others are like hamsters running on a wheel in an endless search to find a quarterback that will lead them to a Super Bowl victory. So what teams are going to make a move when this season is over? Here are 5 teams that I believe will be in the market for a new quarterback this offseason. Starting off with a no-brainer, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. After signing Jimmy Garoppolo to a 3-year deal worth over $72 million, the Raiders have already declared that Garoppolo will be benched moving forward in favor of rookie Aiden O'Connell. This team is a complete disaster. Head coach Josh McDaniels and general manager Dave Ziegler have been fired, and typically whenever a head coach and general manager are fired, that means the quarterback will also be replaced as well. That's the sign of a good old-fashioned rebuild, which is honestly crazy because the Raiders had some pretty high hopes over the past 2 seasons. Heading into 2022, the Raiders made a couple of huge moves in the offseason. They went out and traded for all-pro wide receiver Davante Adams, and they thought that reuniting Adams with his former college quarterback Derek Carr would have been a Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase-esque pairing. However, it was not even close to that, and the Raiders released Derek Carr in the following offseason. The other big splash that the Raiders made was signing edge rusher Chandler Jones. This signing wouldn't end up working out as it seems like Chandler Jones may be dealing with some mental health issues, and due to a series of off-the-field troubles, the Raiders decided to release Jones earlier this season. And to make matters even worse for the Raiders, the team decided to sign former 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo to replace Derek Carr. This was a disaster from day one because Jimmy G failed his first physical with the Raiders, and there was even a chance that Garoppolo would have to undergo surgery. This obviously raised a lot of concern within the Raiders organization, and there was a chance that the contract would fall through if Garoppolo failed another physical. But that didn't end up happening, and Garoppolo would wind up as the team's week 1 starter. And in 6 games with the Raiders, Garoppolo would average only 200 yards per game and throw 7 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Obviously, that is not the kind of performance that the Raiders were looking for from the guy that they signed to a 3-year deal worth over $67 million. So after firing everyone, the Raiders also announced that Aiden O'Connell would start for the team going forward. Aiden O'Connell is a 4th-round rookie out of Purdue, and even though he is a rookie, he has not shown anything that would entice the Raiders into keeping him in their long-term plans. So with that being said, the Raiders are clearly in a complete rebuilding phase, which means they certainly will be looking for a new quarterback this offseason. Next up, I have the New England Patriots. Earlier in the offseason, I said that Mac Jones would be fighting for his job this year, and a lot of people disagreed with me, and they said that the reason why Mac Jones struggled in his sophomore season was simply because of incompetent play calling by Matt Patricia. And while I think it is absolutely moronic that Bill Belichick made the decision to not appoint a true offensive coordinator in 2022, I still thought that Mac Jones was just not that good of a quarterback. And through the first half of 2023, it looks like that statement is correct. Mac Jones is just not that good. The Patriots drafted Mac Jones in the first round of the 2021 NFL Draft with hopes that he could be their new franchise quarterback after Tom Brady left for Tampa in the previous offseason. And in his rookie season, Mac Jones showed a little bit of promise as he led the Patriots to a 10-6 record and a playoff appearance. However, the Patriots got absolutely embarrassed by the Buffalo Bills in the wildcard round, which left a lot of people wondering if the Patriots were winning games in spite of Mac Jones. Coming out of college, Mac Jones did not have any impressive physical traits. He doesn't have an extremely strong arm, and he's not athletic whatsoever. Mac Jones's lackluster physical traits have hindered him in the NFL. This year, Mac Jones is 2-7 as the starter while averaging 206 yards per game. He's thrown 10 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, which is tied for most in the NFL, and his passer rating of 80.2 2022 ranks 27th in the league. Mac Jones's time in New England is up. This team is terrible, and it's very clear that Mac Jones is not going to be the guy to lead the Patriots back to the top of the AFC. The third team on this list is the New York Giants. Unfortunately, Daniel Jones is officially done for the season as he suffered a torn ACL in the first quarter against the Raiders on Sunday. There's a good chance that Sunday's game was Daniel Jones's last game as the starter for the New York Giants. Back in 2019, the New York Giants shockingly decided to draft Daniel Jones out of Duke University with the 6th overall pick. Daniel Jones was regarded as a late first-round pick at the absolute best, with many analysts saying that Jones was going to be a day 2 pick. So the fact that the Giants chose to take Daniel Jones with the 6th overall pick was extremely shocking. Throughout his career, Daniel Jones was very inconsistent. So to try and help get Daniel Jones to the next level, the New York Giants decided to hire Brian Daboll as their new head coach in 2022. During Daboll's time as the offensive coordinator in Buffalo, he played a crucial role in the development of Josh Allen. Now, he was hoping to have the same impact on Daniel Jones. And right off the bat, it looked like a great pairing. Daniel Jones had the best season of his career and led the Giants to a playoff victory against the Minnesota Vikings. This led to the Giants giving Daniel Jones a 4-year extension worth up to $160 million. However, things have come crashing and burning into the ground for the Giants and Daniel Jones in the beginning of 2023. In 6 games as the starter, Daniel Jones has a 1-5 record. He has thrown only 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. His 70.5 passer rating is rock bottom amongst all NFL starting quarterbacks. And now he's out for the season with a torn ACL. It looks like the Giants are going to have a very high draft pick this year, as for the time being, undrafted rookie Tommy DeVito will be their starting quarterback, which means that the Giants will likely be in a position to draft one of this year's top quarterback prospects. And it looks like the Daniel Jones era is coming to an end in New York. Team number 4 that should be looking for a new quarterback this offseason is the Chicago Bears. Whether it's his fault or if it's because of the terrible situation around him, Justin Fields has not worked out as a member of the Chicago Bears. He's 6-25 as the starter and has yet to prove that he can be consistent enough as a passer at the NFL level. The Bears are just one of the worst situations in the NFL right now in general. They're ranked amongst one of the worst teams in the NFL in nearly every category this year. So all of the blame shouldn't be placed on Fields for his struggles during his time in Chicago. However, in 2021, the Bears traded up to draft Justin Fields in the first round with expectations that he would be the team's franchise quarterback. And like I said, whether you want to blame it on him or on the Bears organization, Fields has not looked like a franchise quarterback. So it's best for both parties to move on. For the Bears, it makes a ton of sense to trade Fields. He's still worth at least a 2nd round pick, and as it stands right now, the Bears have the 2nd and 3rd overall pick in this year's draft. So the Bears can get some good value if they trade Fields, and they're also in a great position to draft their quarterback of the future. I think it's time for the Bears to do a complete rebuild. I think it's very likely that they fire Matt Eberflus and potentially fire their GM Ryan Poles as well. And for Fields, he should be desperately wanting out of Chicago. A fresh start for Fields with a different team is just what he may need to grow into the quarterback that many thought he could be coming out of college. The marriage between Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears has been a complete disaster from the start, and it's simply just time to move on. Alright, so the final team on this list is going to be a little bit of a surprise to most people, but just hear me out on this one. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of the blame for the offensive struggles has fallen onto their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. And while there is good reason behind that, I think it's time we start to take a look at Kenny Pickett as well. In 2022, the Steelers took Kenny Pickett with the 20th overall pick in the draft. Leading up to the 2022 NFL draft, it was well known that this draft class was potentially one of the worst classes for quarterbacks in a long time. None of the quarterbacks who were coming out of college that year were overly impressive. But the Steelers were desperate for a quarterback after Ben Roethlisberger retired at the end of 2021. So they decided to take a chance on Kenny Pickett, who also just happened to play college football at Pitt University, where he played all of his home games at Heinz Field. And now here we are. It's November of Pickett's sophomore season, and he hasn't shown anything on the field that tells us that he will be a franchise quarterback. In 20 career starts, Pickett has averaged just over 185 yards per game. He's thrown 13 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, and has a passer rating of 78.5, which ranks 42nd in the NFL during that span. Kenny Pickett has just one career NFL game with more than one touchdown pass, and he also has just one career game with over 300 yards passing. To put into perspective how subpar Kenny Pickett has been, the average passer rating in the NFL is about 93.6. And in 20 career starts, Kenny Pickett has beaten that number only 2 times. But despite Kenny Pickett being a below average quarterback, the Steelers are still winning games, so that's why nobody's talking about it. The Steelers right now are in the NFL's toughest division, as all 4 teams in the AFC North would qualify for the playoffs if the season ended today. And if the Steelers want to keep up with their division moving forward, they're going to need way better quarterback play. Because in a division with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, it's going to be quite difficult to keep up with a pedestrian quarterback like Kenny Pickett. So those are 5 teams that I believe will be looking to make a quarterback change this offseason. Let me know in the comments if there's any other teams that you think will be looking to make a quarterback change going into next season. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button, because it will really go a long way in helping me grow this channel for you. This is a channel where I cover all things pertaining to the NFL, so if you're a big football fan, you will certainly like this channel. And once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.